Okay, so absolute value inequalities. So when you have these guys, you're going to have two cases. You have case 1 and case 2. Now case 1 means just take the bars off and solve it algebraically. So all you do is you just go 5x plus 3 is less than 7. Cross my 7s. Case 2 is take the bars off on the left. Alright, so you have 5x plus 3. Alright, flip your inequality symbol to the other one. So this one was less than, make this one greater than. And make the stuff on the right opposite sign. So negative 7. That's it. But there's a couple of things. So we're going to do another example after this one. But you go over here, you go minus 3, minus 3. Okay, 5x is less than 4. Divide by 5, divide by 5. So we have x is less than 4/5. And, oops, minus 3, minus 3. And I'll change the color over here. So we have 5x is greater than negative 10. Right? Over 5, over 5. And we have x is greater than negative 2. And then we have our two answers. So x is less than 4/5 and x is greater than negative 2. Okay, well, let's talk about a little bit harder one. In fact, do you have a different one to give me? If not, I'll find it. Okay, let's talk about like how we can write this a different way. We can write this like a compound inequality. So notice how you have x is less than 4/5, right? So if we think about our 4th grade skills here, 4/5 is the same thing as, oh, that was actually really dumb. I was thinking 5/4. But 4/5 is basically less than 1. Right? So no 4th grade skills, just less than 1. Okay, so I'll just put 4/5 over here. And then negative 2 is over here. So we're less than 4/5, and we're greater than negative 2. So you see how they're going towards each other? So that's an and situation. Do you remember those guys? Yeah, so x can be any of those numbers except the numbers themselves, because it's not including, it's not a solid circle. So the way I remember that, the way I use this to help me do like a compound inequality is I know this is the low number because it's lower than 4/5, and this is the high number. X goes in the middle, and then you just go like that. All right, if you do that, you always get it right. There's no way. This is not a thing. That's just wrong. You never do a compound inequality with greater than symbols. So to write this as a compound inequality, it's negative 2 x, oops, negative 2 is less than x, which is less than 4/5. So that is the same as this up here. It means and. Yeah, it's a weird notation. But if you read it this way, read this way, it, yeah, so x is greater than negative 2, which is that, and then x is less than 4/5, which is that. Okay, that's one. Let's do a few more. So let's do the absolute value of negative d is greater than 5. Are you with me? Okay. So case 1 and then case 2. All right, so what does case 1 tell us to do? Remove the bars. That's a really good question, because you're thinking like maybe I should make it positive d, right? Okay, so if you have, let's say you have, I don't know, like y is equal to, no, let's just think of like you do. Okay, now like the best way I can explain it is that this number here is the result of this right here. And the result has to be positive. Okay, so I used to get really thrown off by things like like y equals the absolute value of negative x, right? But this part right here is what you really want to think about as being positive. Okay? So, because, like, what is the absolute value of negative 5? 5. So, that's the result. That's still negative 5, right? But then once you apply the absolute value to it, the result is 5. But we didn't change this part, right? That's still the input. The input is still negative 5. The output is 5, right? So yeah, so just take the bars off for case 1. Treat it like before. Yeah. So negative d is greater than 5, and then move on to case 2. I do, but I do case 2 first, because it just feels good to have them both side by side. Take off the bars. Negative d. Flip the sign. Negative 5. Okay. Now work on the left one. And I'll treat it as divided by negative 1. So divided by negative 1, divided by negative 1, then what do? Good, so you flipped your sign. Yep, so so divide by negative, flip the sign. Alright, so d is less than negative 5, and this one over here, divide by negative 1, divide by negative 1, d is greater than 5. Now let's put that on a number line. So we have negative 5, oops, that doesn't belong there. We have negative 5 and we have 5, right? And we are less than negative 5 and we are greater than 5. So is that an and situation or an or situation? That's an or situation. So you can have a math teacher who's really, really picky and you write and, you're going to get partial credit. So I remember when I was like in school and I'd be like, I don't know if it's and or. I'll just go like this and be like, eh. And so it's or. So your answer is, first of all, you can't do a compound inequality, right? You can't do one of these dealios kind of thing. That only works with and situations. But since you're going away from each other, so you just write the answer down and you just put an or in between them. You just go or. Like that. Got that? Okay, you ready? Okay, what's the first thing we're going to do? No. So first, you said take the bars out, which is wrong. You got to move everything over except for the inequality, which is why I brought this problem in here. So we're going to go minus 6, and then we're going to go, so negative 2, absolute value of negative 8p is less than negative 9. What's the next move? Yep, divide by negative 2, but when you divide by both sides, you flip the sign. Divide by negative 2. Negative 8p is greater than what? Than 9 over 2. Do we care that there's a negative in the absolute value? Nope. Case 1 and case 2. Case 1, case 2. That is an arrow. Okay, negative. is greater than 9 over 2. Okay, and what's case 2? Negative 8p is less than, flip the sign, opposite sign. All right, and then on the left, what do? Divide by negative 8. Divide by negative 8. I'll just do it like that. You're right, flip the sign. So p, negative 8. P is less than 9 over 2 divided by negative 8 over 1, which is the same thing as p is less than 9 over 2 times 1 over negative 8, but I'll bring the negative to the top. And then you got p is less than, so that's a negative right there, right? So then you have negative 9 over 16. Did you get that? So now, let's do case 2. So what do? Divide by negative 8. Okay, then divide by negative 8. And we'll do a little trick on this one. So then we do, so you're going to do 8, so we do 8p, flip the inequality. What's the trick? I don't know why I said AP. That was a test. Yeah, so you can just, if you multiply these two together, so a fraction divided by a whole number is the same thing as just multiplying these two bottom guys together right here. Right? So then you're going to get, we flip our sign, bam, and then you're going to get your, wait, this is a negative divided by negative, so the whole thing's positive, right? All right, so then it's a 9 over 16. That's it. So do we have an and situation or an or situation? Okay, let's put it on the number line. 9/16 and negative 9/16. And we have greater than that, so we're going bam, less than that, going like that. No, they're going opposite directions, right? So they're going away from each other, not towards each other, so it's an or situation. So then our answer is p is less than negative 9 over 16, or p is greater than 9 over 16. Okay, hold on a sec. Okay, so what do? Okay, add 8 to both sides. All right, perfect. Now what? Okay, divide by negative 2. Flip the sign. Absolute value minus 3. Less than or equal to 5. Okay. Now what do? Case 1. Case 2. That's a U. Yeah, clearly. There's a big gap right here. Okay. U minus 3 is less than or equal to 5. All right, check the bars off, leave it alone. Next one. U minus 3. Flip the sign and what? Opposite sign on the right. Cool. So plus 3, plus 3, plus 3. And U is less than or equal to what? 8 plus 3 plus 3. U is greater than or equal to negative 2. Is this an and situation or an or situation? Check our number line. I still do, because it helps you with the compound inequalities. Here's your 8. Here's your negative 2. And they're open circles, I mean, they're closed circles too. Closed circles, and they're going towards each other, away from each other. Towards each other, so is that and or? And, so technically, by the way, this answer isn't wrong, but it's not mathy. It's not fancy. So we'll do a compound. So we'll put our, how do we do it? Put U in the middle. You could have it just the same exact way to the number line. Like I'm building it on the number line. Build it on the number line. Arrows always, you don't have to think about it. Arrows always go to the left. Since you know it's an and, this, like I have this memorized, that this always means between the 2 points. And this is never a thing. This is nothing. You would never do that. That's less than -2, greater than, that's an or situation. You don't write ors like compounds. So you just go like that, like that, oh, like that, and then that's it. That's the answer. Here, I'll write it over here. Do you get that? Cool.